In today's video, guys, we shall be checking out Oppenheimer, which is Christopher Nolan's newest film. So without further ado, let's get into today's review. Let's get into it. So I thought then that Oppenheimer was an absolute mind-boggling movie. I loved it. It was amazing. It left you with so many questions at the end of the movie when it had all finished and the dust had settled. But it just blew your mind, especially in that last hour. I think at the beginning it was a slow burner, but not a bad slow burner. I feel you knew the potential of the movie from the get-go. I feel that although the movie didn't start off with the biggest action sequence going, you couldn't take your eyes off the screen. You knew something was going to happen. The movie felt like it was drawing you in constantly. And you know that's the hallmarks of a good quality film. For 3 hours, I was entertained. I was not bored one single bit. I think it just gives a different vibe to any film you would have watched this year. Out of all the movies I've watched this year, no movie is like this one. And on Oppenheimer, I felt that it felt similar to The Darkest Hour, the one about Winston Churchill. It had the hallmarks of that. As it wasn't this big spectacle of action sequences and everything like that. It was drama. It was deep. But you could tell the actors were all invested. You could tell Christopher Nolan got it down to a T. You could tell everyone came in, and the star-studded cast. This movie would be nothing without the cast. And I think if you put some average Joes in there, it would not be as good. I think this is down to the pure acting of some of the guys that we'll see later on, the likes of Cillian, Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt, and Florence Pugh, some of the best actors around. There's so many established actors in this movie where you just think, fuck me, how many can you fit in? Is it overcrowded? And the answer is no, no, and no. Christopher Nolan just got it down to a T. I don't know how it worked, but it did. I feel from my expectations, it over-exceeded my expectations, which was amazing because the trailer gives you a lot but doesn't give you a lot. It's weird. It gives you the main points of what the movie's about, the creation of the atomic bomb. It misses out most of the first hour of the movie in the trailer. However, in that first half of the stuff you don't see of the drama side of the stuff, you miss all that out. The struggles in Oppenheimer towards the back end of the movie, you miss the rise of Oppenheimer. Really, it just shows the middle, the best part of the movie, which is the explosion and the build-up to creating the atomic bomb, but it misses out a lot of stuff, the trailer, because the trailer is just meant to be a sneak peek, and it shows probably the best bit in the movie, but not the rise and the fall. So it was a bit different to what I expected, so it over-exceeded my expectations. I like how this movie splits the movie into two halves. As the first half of the movie focuses on the rise of Oppenheimer, the idea of the atomic bomb and how it could be a good invention to end the war, and to help USA have a threat then to ward off enemy countries from trying anything against USA. And it was a good way as well to have one up on other countries like Germany and Russia, who were rivals of making the atomic bomb around the same time, and they wanted to be the first country to have that weapon and to show what sort of threat they could pose. I feel like the second part of the movie was completely different to the first, as the second part of the movie was regret. He felt like he had the blood on his hands of all the people he killed with that bomb of Hiroshima and the bombings of Japan. He felt that he had created probably one of the biggest things that will end up destroying the world. That his creation was going to change the world that day it was created, as the world would never be the same again after bringing nuclear bombs into the world. And you could see the effects on him personally, as he blamed himself for those bombings, and that apparently when there were reports saying that Japan weren't going to stop and weren't going to surrender, he had actually just bombed somebody that was struggling anyways and was probably going to surrender in the war. So it was it was like, did he have to drop that bomb? Was it that serious? And I think there was a lot of regret there with Oppenheimer in that second half of the film. And as well as that, he had his reputation ruined after going back on his word with the atomic bomb, after saying maybe we ought to look at other suggestions, really. And his reputation was ruined after stuff came out about his past about him being a communist and hanging around with communists during the creation of the atomic bomb. So anybody would have found out, and apparently there was a Russian spy working in the mix. And all these different things got brought up because Strauss had wanted to get revenge after this press conference where apparently Oppenheimer embarrassed him as he basically shut down Strauss's idea, and Strauss wanted revenge, so he gave all the information regarding his past and the communism stuff and other facts about him to an officer regarding his security and how his renewal was coming up, and that he would have to be put under like investigation over these alleged actions, over his communism stuff. And basically Strauss basically did this because he was not only jealous of what Oppenheimer was after the war, as he was hailed as a hero and what is the father of the atomic bomb, and then he obviously lost his reputation, lost everything because of Strauss being basically an arrogant prick and wanted what Oppenheimer had and wanted revenge for embarrassing him. And it was such a thing that I didn't expect, and that's what I mean. The movie is a tale of two halves, completely different from the other. And on the Strauss thing, I really thought it was interesting, as I didn't expect a plot twist as such in this type of movie. It didn't feel like a plot twist worthy film, although it happened, and I was sort of like, oh, shit's gonna go down here. And then there was a good, must have been 20-30 minutes of discussions between Robert Downey Jr. and his court, talking about his new role and basically giving himself a good word and bad mouthing Oppenheimer. And Oppenheimer was trying to protect his reputation, whilst everyone else, all these witnesses, talked about him, his decisions, how he was as a person, the communist stuff, and just to find out all these different things about him, in which was completely slagging Oppenheimer off, basically. However, roles get reversed when somebody steps up in the court against Strauss, highlighted how he had done all this as a revenge angle against Oppenheimer, and that he was just sour about him being hailed as this big father of the atomic bomb and all this fame that came with it, and Strauss was left embarrassed. And I really liked how they pieced that together, although I think the ending was quite sad on Oppenheimer's point of view, because he was then blamed and basically chucked out the door. The same happened to Strauss, really. He was embarrassed about the role he was gonna apply, which he tried applying for and didn't get. So basically both of them end up left out in the cold. But I think it just shows that Oppenheimer got treated like shit, and unfairly got treated like shit, as he created a weapon of mass destruction. However, he then regretted what he did, but then the country basically turned on him, in which was horrible for him. And I think it was just a great true story, and I think something that I didn't expect from this type of film. I feel that so many great actors just had the time to shine, and Cillian Murphy was made to look like the real guy. It felt real. It felt like you was watching this play out in front of your eyes, and it was all real. It weren't story. It was magnificent. I think Christopher Nolan got that spot on. I think Cillian Murphy was absolutely outstanding. I've seen him in Peaky Blinders. I've seen him in 28 Days Later. I've seen him in plenty of stuff now, and he is just an amazing actor, one of the best around at the minute. And I think that not only him was good, but I think his portrayal of Oppenheimer was exceptional. But I also like Robert Downey Jr. played a good antagonist at points, felt sour at points, felt at the beginning just the average sort of politician. I feel he played that role well. It was something that I haven't really seen Robert Downey Jr. play, to be fair, but it was great. I think Emily Blunt was good, Florence Pugh, honestly, the list goes on. Finally then, I thought I'd go through a few of the actors and actresses which were absolutely amazing. There's a load more which aren't going to be included, unfortunately, because I couldn't tell you all the great actors and actresses which were here. But the likes of Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Alden Ehrenreich, Matt Damon, Kenneth Branagh, Scott Grimes, Tony Goldwyn, Florence Pugh, David Dastmalchian, Josh Peck, Jack Quaid, Steve Coulter, Tom Conti, Josh Zuckerman, Devon Bostick, plus many others that obviously I just can't mention because there's a load of them. So to summarise this movie then, for me, I feel that this movie was a masterpiece. I don't think it's a movie that I'll be watching every week, for instance. I think it's a special movie that will be probably watched for me at least once a year, as it's something completely different that we've never seen before. Reminds me a bit of The Dark Tower, hence why I've rated this movie an 8.5 and a classic film. So let me know down in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it terrible? Is it amazing? Let me know down in the comments down below, please. Also, we have noticed not enough people have been smashing that subscribe button, so please hit that now, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. I shall see you guys in the next one. Later.